A Really Good Snowman by Daniel J. Mahoney. Jack was building a model plane. He was about to glue the wings on when he heard his sister Nancy coming up the stairs. "Jack," she called. "Oh, Jack!" Jack darted into his closet and closed the door. He tried not to move. He tried not to breathe. If Nancy saw the plane, she'd want to help. Nancy loved to help Jack. Once, she'd helped him by cleaning his tuba. Another time, she'd helped him by illustrating his homework for science class. And just yesterday, she'd helped him shovel the driveway. The closet door opened. "Hi, Jack," said Nancy. "Are we playing hide and seek?" Not exactly," said Jack. He slipped the plane behind his back, but it was too late. Nancy had already spotted it. "Ooh, I can help you build your plane," Nancy said. "I'll glue the wings on. I'm really good at gluing." Jack shuddered. "Thanks, but I think I'll stop now," he said quickly. "I'm meeting Angie and Meldon in the park. We're going to enter the Shady Woods Snowman contest." "Ooh, I'll come along and help," said Nancy. "I'm really good at making snowmen." Jack just sighed. By the time Jack and Nancy reached the park, Angie and Meldon had already started. "Hi, guys," called Nancy. "I'm going to help you build your snowman." Jack rolled his eyes. "Sorry," he said to his friends. "That's okay," said Meldon. "We can use the extra paws." "Actually, we can't," said Angie. "The contest rules say only 3 to a team." Suddenly, Jack felt more cheerful. "That's right," he told Nancy. "You'll have to build your own snowman." Nancy trudged off alone. For a moment, Jack was sorry. Then he turned his back and got to work. Soon the park was filled with teams making snowmen. There were happy snowmen and sad ones, skinny ones and fat ones, big ones and small ones. And then there was Nancy's. Clyde and his friends stopped to take a look. "What do you call that?" asked Clyde. "A snowman," Nancy said proudly. "A snow lump is more like it," jeered Clyde. "Here, we'll make it bigger for you." "Stop!" yelled Nancy. Jack saw what was happening and ran over. "Leave my sister alone," he said. "What's the big deal?" said Clyde. "We were just helping her out." "She doesn't need your kind of help," said Jack. "Yeah, what she needs is a miracle," said Clyde, and he and his friends swaggered off, laughing. Nancy looked at her snowman. "It's ruined," she said with a sniff. "Don't worry, we can fix it," said Jack. "Come on, let's get started." Soon, Angie and Meldon joined them. "Hey, Jack, I thought you were on our team," said Angie. "Yeah," said Meldon. "What's going on?" Jack looked at his friends. He looked at his sister. Then he sighed. "You guys can build a snowman without me," he said. "Nancy can't." "Good point," said Angie. "Good luck," said Meldon. Then he and Angie went back to their snowman. Nancy knew exactly what she wanted her snowman to look like. So Jack piled snow up, and then she packed it down and smoothed it out and patted it into place. "This is going to be a really good snowman," Jack said as it began to take shape. Suddenly, he realized that he was having fun, and he understood why Nancy liked helping out. Not that he planned to let her get within 5 feet of his model plane. By the end of the afternoon, there were snowmen everywhere. There were excited ones and grumpy ones, brave ones and frightened ones, smart ones and silly ones. And then there was Nancy's. It wasn't short or tall or weird or funny. It was just a regular middle-sized snowman, but it was hers. The judges walked around the park. They circled each snowman, jotting things down on their clipboards. Jack watched them anxiously. It would be so great for Nancy to win her very first snowman contest. The judges made more notes on their clipboards. They talked for a while. Finally, they headed straight toward Nancy and Jack. And straight past them. The winners of the 5th annual Shady Woods Snowman Contest are Angie and Meldon, announced the head judge, handing Angie the trophy. Everyone clapped and cheered. Some of the big kids hoisted Angie and Meldon onto their shoulders and carried them all around the park. For a moment, Jack felt bad. If he had stayed with his team, he would be sharing that trophy now. Then Nancy put her paw in his, and the two of them joined the parade. "Maybe you didn't win," Jack said, as they headed home a little later. "But you know something, Nancy? You really are good at making snowmen." After dinner, Jack discovered that Nancy was good at making trophies, too. Thanks for watching. Click subscribe. All You Need for a Snowman by Alice Schertle, illustrated by Barbara LaValle. One small snowflake fluttering down. That's all you need for a snowman. Except 2 more snowflakes, 3 flakes, 4, 5, 6, 7,000, 8 million more. Billions of snowflakes piled in a mound. Pack them and roll them around into one big ball. And that's all. One big, cold, well-rolled snowflake ball. That's all you need for a snowman. Except for a middle-sized ball and a small one. On top of that, you need a hat, a short, flat hat, or a tall one. 3 hand-packed, triple-stacked balls of snow. Hat on top, where a hat should go. That's all you need for a snowman. Except for a couple of bottle caps, round and flat. Stick them under a snowman's hat. Surprise! Snowman's eyes. That's all you need for a snowman's face. But what's in the middle? An empty space. That's the place where the carrot goes, if a carrot is a snowman's nose. But what about clothes? Walnut buttons, 5 in a row, belt in the middle, boots below, big wool scarf, broom to hold, mittens in case his hands get cold, earmuffs, fanny pack, something to read. That's absolutely all you need for a snowman. Uh-oh, look in the sky again. One small snowflake falling, then soft white snowflakes filling the sky, floating down everywhere, piling up high. Soft white snowflakes filling the sky, floating down everywhere, piling up high. And that's all you need for a snowman's friend. The end. Thanks for watching. Click subscribe. Froggy Builds a Snowman by Jonathan London, illustrated by Frank Remkowitz. It was cold. Froggy woke up and looked out the window. It's snowing! Snowing! Sang Froggy. And today is the winter carnival! Froggy! Called his mother. What? It's time to get dressed, dear. This year you're not sleeping through the winter carnival. Yay! Said Froggy, and he imagined the snowman he would make. Super Frog! With a cape hanging from his neck. Arf! Arf! Then he hopped out of bed and got dressed, and he even remembered to pull on his long underwear. Zap! Zip! 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 Zap! And flopped to the kitchen for breakfast. Flop! 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 But Froggy, said Dad, why are you wearing your coat and cap and mittens and scarf? So I don't miss the bus, said Froggy, and he ate his bowl of cereal and flies. Munch, crunch, munch. Then he jumped up and flopped to the school bus. Flop, flop, flop. Have fun, said Mom and Dad. Arf, arf. At school, where the winter carnival was, Froggy was first off the bus. Flop, flop, flop. And he was the first to make a snow angel. Swish, swish, swish. Then he started to build a snowman. Froggy! Called the principal, Mr. Mugwort. What? First, we're ice skating. Yippee! Everybody yelled and raced to put on their ice skates. But Froggy didn't know how to ice skate. He skated like a seasick chicken. Flap, flap. Oops! Cried Froggy, falling, falling, and Max and Frogalina fell over him. Splat, splat, splat. Now I'm building a snowman, said Froggy, sitting up. No, said Mr. Mugwort. Now we are sledding. Yippee! Everybody yelled, and Froggy and his friends raced up the slope with their sleds. But Froggy didn't know how to sled. He zoomed down and smacked into Max. Oops! Splat! And they rolled out of their sleds into the snow, laughing like crazy. Now, said Froggy, jumping up, I'm making a snowman. No, said Mr. Mugwort. Now we are making a snow fort. Yippee! Everybody yelled, and Froggy and his friends pushed and piled and packed snow into a big snow fort. "Cool," said Froggy. "Now let's have a snowball fight." "Froggy!" called Mr. Mugwort. "What?" "Now," said Mr. Mugwort, "it's time to build a snowman." "Yippee!" yelled Froggy, and all his friends yelled with him. And they rolled snow into big balls, zoom, 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 and everyone built a snowman. Max built a snowman that looked like a beaver chewing on a carrot. Matthew built a snowman that looked like a turtle wearing a ski cap. Travis built a snowman that looked like a bear with mittens instead of claws. And Frogolina built a snowman that looked like Froggy looking goofy. "Nice," said Mr. Mugwort, looking at all the snowmen. "Now let's see what Froggy made." Well, Froggy had planned to build a super frog, but oh no, he'd forgotten to bring his superhero cape. So Froggy built a snowman that looked like a dinosaur with carrot teeth. "Roar!" went Froggy, and everybody roared with him. "Roar!" "Snowball fight!" yelled Froggy, and Froggy made a snowball and threw it at Mr. Mugwort. Thwack! It smacked him in the chest. "Oops!" cried Froggy, looking more red in the face than green. Mr. Mugwort wiped snow off his coat and glared at him. Then he made a snowball and yelled, "Let the snowballs fly!" "Yippee!" everybody yelled, and some ran to the snow fort. Some hid behind trees, and the snowballs did fly. Thwack, thwack, thwack! "That was my best winter carnival ever," said Froggy. "That was your only winter carnival ever," said Max, and everybody laughed. Even Froggy's snowman. It roared with laughter. Ha ha ha! Thanks for watching. Click subscribe. Frosty the Snowman by Jack Rollins and Steve Nelson. Frosty the Snowman was a jolly, happy soul, with a corncob pipe and a button nose and 2 eyes made out of coal. Frosty the Snowman is a fairy tale, they say. He was made of snow, but the children know how he came to life one day. There must have been some magic in that old silk hat they found. For when they placed it on his head, he began to dance around. Oh, Frosty the Snowman was alive as he could be, and the children say he could laugh and play just the same as you and me. Frosty the Snowman knew the sun was hot that day, so he said, "Let's run and we'll have some fun now before I melt away." Down to the village with a broomstick in his hand, running here and there all around the square, saying, "Catch me if you can." He led them down the streets of town right to the traffic cop, and he only paused a moment when he heard him holler, "Stop!" For Frosty the Snowman had to hurry on his way, but he waved goodbye, saying, "Don't you cry, I'll be back again someday." Thumpity thump thump thumpity thump thump, look at Frosty go. Thumpity thump thump thumpity thump thump over the hills of snow. Thanks for watching. Click subscribe. Disney Frozen, A Day in the Sun by Frank Barrios. Hi, my name is Olaf. I am a snowman, but I've always dreamed about summer. The blue skies and white clouds, buzzing bees and dandelions, a day in the sun would be so amazing. At the beach, I could really work on my snowman tan. Ahoy! I could go sailing. Ah, what a lovely breeze. There's nothing more relaxing than a nice swim. All my cares would just melt away. Summertime is also perfect for meeting new friends. Winter is fine for penguins and ice. But a tap-dancing seagull is twice as nice. Summer is so full of surprises. I can't wait for my dream to come true. And then I can play with someone like you. Thanks for watching. Click subscribe. Disney Frozen, Big Snowman, Little Snowman. By Tish Rabe, illustrated by the Disney Storybook artists. Happy sister, sad sister. At first, Hans seems nice. Elsa runs away. She makes the snow and ice. Anna gets on her horse. Ride, Anna, ride. Anna falls off. It's cold outside. Anna meets Kristoff. His reindeer is Sven. Kristoff goes in, then out again. Anna and Kristoff go, go, go. Sven climbs fast. Anna climbs slow. Elsa has a palace. Anna enters first. Kristoff enters last. Elsa freezes Anna with an icy blast. Cold Olaf dreams of the hot, hot sun. Little snowman, big snowman, run, run, run. Anna is freezing. She is worried too. She asks a troll what to do. Watch out! Hans attacks! Anna is in front. Elsa is in back. Winter ends. Summer starts. Anna's active love has thawed her frozen heart. Olaf apart. Sisters together. Elsa, Anna, and Olaf. Friends forever. Thanks for watching. Click subscribe. Disney Frozen. Hello, Olaf. By Andrea Posner Sanchez. Elsa made a snowman to play with when she was a little girl. Elsa and Anna called the snowman Olaf. They pretended he was alive. Years later, Elsa uses her magical powers to really make Olaf come to life. Anna is all grown up now. Olaf meets Anna, Kristoff, and Sven. Sven loves carrots. Olaf better hold on to his nose. Olaf wishes for warm days and sunshine. A day on the beach would be a dream come true. Olaf would sail. Olaf would swim. He would even sit in a hot tub. Do not melt, Olaf. Elsa has a way to keep Olaf cold, even when it is warm. She does some magic. Now Olaf the snowman will never melt. Thanks for watching. Click subscribe. Heart of a Snowman by Mary Kurila and Eugene Yelkin. Owen knew that at the heart of a snowman is a perfect snowball. To make a perfect snowball, you need the powdery kind of snow that's a touch melty. Owen packed handfuls of it into a round ball and rolled the ball around, this way and that, and so he rolled it into something large. You make the best snowman, said Owen's little sister. His eyes are looking at me. Owen smiled with pride. Those aren't eyes, they're buttons. His sister dug a carrot from her pocket and handed it to him. It was twisted and thin. He took it anyway. How will you keep him warm? He doesn't need to be warm, said Owen. He's cold all the way through. But he's warm inside, she said, sure of it. Owen was too busy to argue. He looked at her scarf. He could use that. His sister's hand went up to her scarf. The knitting gaped in great holes the way only comfy scarves do. Okay, you can have it, she said. I won't need it tomorrow. There's going to be lots of sun. Every year, Owen built a snowman on Christmas Eve, but the sun always melted it by Christmas Day. There's got to be a way to keep it around, Owen told himself. A ho-ho-ho, and a shuffling sound came from the chimney. Owen was so worried about his snowman, he didn't even notice. Long after bedtime, a brilliant light beamed down on Owen's snowman. It came from a vessel hovering overhead. Owen ran out of the house and called, "What are you doing with my snowman?" He grabbed hold of his snowman and was pulled inside. Within the vessel, it was still and hushed as falling snow. Snowmen pressed in on every side. In the distance, Owen saw steam pumping up from a factory, all shiny and bright. Owen and his snowman were abruptly ejected from the vessel into a vast factory. "Please step away from your snowman," said a chilling voice on a loudspeaker. "You're too warm, Owen." Piece by piece, Owen's snowman was carried off along smooth tubes. Owen felt hot with anger in spite of the terrible cold in the factory. They were unmaking his snowman! The next room hummed with the sound of destruction. Owen saw his snowman's head placed on a conveyor belt. The rabbit's job was to eat the nose. He was good at his job. Steadily, steadily went the woolies, unknitting his sister's scarf. Nearby, a moose snapped the snowman's twig limbs in two. What kind of barbaric place was this? What Owen saw at the next station made him gasp. They had taken apart his snowman, snowflake by snowflake, and now a pointy instrument was tweezing apart each snowflake, branch by branch. Outraged, Owen turned to the polar bear. How would you like someone to pull off your arms? The polar bear hunched a little closer over his microscope. That's when it hit Owen. Everybody thinks the sun melts snowmen, but they're wrong. Snowmen are just brought here. Back off, said the polar bear. You're too warm. What difference does it make if I'm too warm? You're already taking apart the snowman. You're getting warmer, Owen, said the chilling voice from the loudspeaker. Move along now. Exit right. Mind your step. Owen stepped out into an open field of snow piled and puffed, wondering if he could still save his snowman. A vehicle hauling a load of carrots was coming up fast. Owen raced to the driver. Those look perfect, he said, puzzled. Yes, said the rabbit. We grow them ourselves. They're for the snowmen. Snowmen, said Owen. But I thought you destroy snowmen. The rabbit stared at Owen. Why would we destroy snowmen if we grow new noses? It began to feel warmer. Up ahead, Owen saw a crop of chimneys sticking out of the snow. A white cat leaped onto one and went down. A moment later, it reappeared, but now it was black with soot. Held in its small mouth was something round and black. What is that you are carrying? Said Owen. The cat's eyes went wide, and the thing dropped from its mouth. Owen caught the lump of coal and turned it over in his hand. These are eyes, right? I use buttons, but I know most people use coal. The cat darted off. Eyes, nose, everything like new. Owen called after it. Hey, are you making a snowman? But the cat was gone. Owen stomped his foot in frustration, and the snow caved in beneath him. He dropped right through and was pitched into a cloud. Cold gusts blew Owen here and there, setting him to spin and spin. Never had he felt so fine, so fluffed, so wonderful. Owen had dropped into a chamber from making snowflakes. Suddenly the chamber stopped gusting, and Owen fell onto the cold floor. Two walruses stared at him. Look, he got them all dirty, said one, and sent the snowflakes to be cleaned, every needle, every branch. We don't take snowmen apart, said the other, and clean them top to bottom for nothing, you know. So why do you take them apart and clean them? The walruses looked at each other and shrugged. I know, said Owen. It's to make the perfect snowman. Owen was so pleased with his discovery, he thrust his hand back into the chamber and caught a snowflake. Don't touch, said a walrus. The snowflake melted in Owen's hand. See, you're too warm. But that's how you build a snowman, said Owen, with your hands. At the last station, Owen discovered the pieces of his snowman, all perfectly remade. A puffin stared up at him. From top to bottom, we've improved on your snowman, said the puffin. Only we've had a bit of trouble getting him started. The puffin held the very beginnings of a snowball, and they were very poor beginnings indeed. I'll show you how. Owen scooped up a handful of snow. He held the snow until it got a touch melty from the warmth of his hands. Now the snow rolled nicely into a round ball. You roll the best snowball, said the puffin. Feel, said Owen, giving the puffin his hand. The puffin held Owen's hand. Warm. One ball at a time, Owen and the puffin made a snowman. As Owen wrapped his sister's scarf around it, the puffin said, Can I tell you how long we have tried to make a snowman? This is your first? The puffin blushed. Yes. Owen looked back at the millions of cleaned and improved pieces of other snowmen. What's all that for? You, said the chilling voice from the loudspeaker. That's why we brought you here. Owen looked up. You brought me here? Yes, said the voice. You will roll the perfect snowball at the heart of all our snowmen. Worried, Owen looked around. Meanwhile, the animals had gathered to see their first snowman. One pointed at the snowman. Look, it's melting. Not possible, boomed the voice on the loudspeaker. At these temperatures, a snowman can last forever. The Puffin set up a machine that would uncover the nature of any snowman problem. With a flip of a switch, all was revealed. From deep inside the snowman glowed a warm snowball. "What has the boy done?" said the voice from the loudspeaker. It sounded a little disappointed. "When a boy makes a snowman, he gives it a heart," said the Puffin. "It gets so warm inside the snowman can't last." The animals looked at each other. All at once they knew the factory would close, because the only place a snowman would last forever was in a boy's heart. The next morning was bright and sunny as Owen pulled his sister over the snow on his new sled. As they passed the snowman, she said, "Look, your snowman is melting." "Don't you know it's not the sun that melts the snowman?" said Owen. "It's his heart." "Yes," his sister said, "I know." Owen retrieved her scarf and then pulled them toward the big hill. His sister noticed the scarf was woven like new. "That's all right," she said, wrapping it around her. "I'll have it comfy again by next Christmas." Thanks for watching. Click subscribe. Making a Friend by Allison McGee with illustrations by Mark Rosenthal. Look, the leaves are turning. The air is growing cold. Dream of winter. On a moonless night, starry snow drifts down. Wake to whiteness. Snow, cold, clean snow. Sparkling snow. Snow on your tongue. Angels in the snow. And a snowman. You need a mouth, snowman. And a nose and eyes and arms. And a hat. I'll give you mine, snowman, my snowman. Snowman, you left your hat. Where did you go? Where did he go? Look, he is in the falling water and the rain upon the ocean. What you love will always be with you. But where is he now? He is there in the fog in the hollow, in the frost on the window. The leaves are turning again. What you love will always be with you. Will he ever come back? Look, the lake's first ice. The air is growing cold. Dream of winter, the first snow. What you love will always be with you. Snowman, my snowman. Thanks for watching. Click subscribe. Snowman in Paradise by Michael Roberts. 'Twas the week after Christmas, and all through the streets the snowplows were churning, the ice was in sheets, and out on the sidewalks where winds were a-freezin' stood mountains of trash bags with old Christmas trees in. The city was silent, quite ghostly and white. No parties, no holly, not one festive light. The townsfolk had left with their friends and relations, off to the beach for their winter vacations. They rushed to the airport with bulging valises, packed with resort wear that wouldn't show creases. And no one looked back at the star of our tale, a frostbitten snowman, exceedingly pale. He stood on the corner of Hudson and First, and sighed in the spot where the mud was the worst. Oh, why can't I travel, do things that I oughta, instead of becoming a puddle of water? Now, often you wish, and what happens? A zero. But luck was at hand for our quick frozen hero. Down from its nest on a rooftop came calling a magical bluebird who said, "It's appalling! Please cease all this terrible moaning and sorrow. I'm granting your wish, and you're leaving tomorrow. My magic will see you don't melt in the sun. Just mind you return for some Christmas time fun." The following day, though the ice was like glass, the snowman was off, flying high in first class. He put on his headphones, looked down at the coast, and dined on smoked salmon with pieces of toast. He watched a short movie and had a long doze, while dreaming of feeling warm sand on his toes. "Fasten your seatbelts," a voice then commanded, and all of a sudden the snowman had landed. The first things he saw were the coconut trees, swaying on sands near the bluest of seas, as glittering fish swam through bright coral caves, and seahorses pranced on the crests of the waves. The people who lived on this paradise isle looked friendly indeed as they flashed him a smile. They gave him a hut with a bathroom and bed and made him a garland to put round his head. The snowman's routine, or his everyday thing, was to wake, take a shower, have breakfast, and sing. He'd swing through the jungle, find berries to munch, and study the insects right up until lunch. From winter to spring, it was hot as a fire. In March, the thermometer shot even higher. In April, the snowman stayed under the trees and painted his neighbors, all busy as bees. In May, after splashing with buckets of paint, he threw down his brush, saying, "Go, Gan, I ain't." Then, hearing the waves crashing high on the shore, he raced to go surfing and painted no more. He partied through June, ate bananas in bunches. He slept until noon and had very late lunches. Each night, he would skip on his big snowy feet, then pause just because he'd find new things to eat. July for the snowman was much the best fun. He'd find things to do, then he wouldn't do one. He lazed in his hammock, ate meal after meal, and didn't use sunblock, since how could he peel? Then halfway through August, the snowman said, "Phew, it can be quite tiring with nothing to do. Perhaps I'll be good, grow some flowers for friends, to take back as gifts when my holiday ends." September, October, the snowman worked hard to make a swell garden that covered his yard. And then in November, he wrapped neighbors' huts with seasonal blooms mixed with fresh fruit and nuts. Christmas was coming. He soon had to go. Back to the mud and the slush and the snow. How sad, thought the snowman, to leave this behind. But then something happened that quite changed his mind. A sinister bell tinkling far in the east signaled the warriors' pre-Christmas feast, where hunters who gathered for cocktails at 6 had run out of ice cubes to drop in the mix. It took just a minute for each thirsty guest to see that a chunk of the snowman was best, to chill all their drinks, make them taste much more cooling. "So let's go and get him," the leader said, drooling. Surrounding the snowman, they said, "You're so cool." He looked at their glasses and thought, "I'm no fool." Then off up a hillside he dashed to the top and dived to escape in a waterfall's drop. 'Twas Snowman's good luck that the plants were now friends. They tied up the tribe, turned them right on their ends. Then running off fast, he packed up in a trice and flew back to town where they didn't need ice. Landing home safe in the cold of Manhattan, the snowman relaxed in the taxi he sat in, until all the lights shining bright in Times Square showed him the bluebird was waiting right there. "So what Christmas treat did you bring?" it cried, clapping, as inside the snowman's small case it heard tapping. Then whoosh! Like a jet, out flew flowers fantastic, on stems stretching high to the sky like elastic. Orchids grew madly as vines started clinging. Palm leaves and cacti were sprouting and springing. From Brooklyn across to the United Nations, each block was a riot of wild decorations. Shoppers out hunting to buy gifts aplenty, in taxis which never gave change for a 20, were charmed to discover cab roofs now had gardens, and drivers had manners, said thank you and pardon. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and though the snow swirled, our hero stayed snug in his own rooftop world. "Snowman," said Bluebird, "please live here forever. This place is my gift for your present so clever." To live here forever? How could it be hard? There's a bluebird of happiness in my backyard. So here is my wish as I turn out the light. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Thanks for watching. Click subscribe. Sneezy the Snowman by Maureen Wright. Illustrated by Stephen Gilpin. Sneezy the Snowman shivered. "Brr, it's cold out here, that's for sure. I need a drink to warm me up." So he drank cocoa from a cup. He said with a smile, "I like this a lot." And then, right there, believe it or not, he melted from drinking something too hot. The children cried out, "What should we do?" A voice from the puddle said, "Make me brand new." They rebuilt Sneezy as snowflakes flew. A cold winter wind swirled and blew. The snowman sneezed a gigantic achoo! "I'm sneezing and freezing and shivering too." A little girl said, "Then let's share. I have something you can wear." Here's my hat to put on your head." "You look awesome," the children said. The snowman blinked his coal black eyes. The stocking cap was a nice surprise. But Sneezy the snowman shivered. "Brr, it's cold out here, that's for sure. I am freezing every minute. I'll find a hot tub and sit right in it." He found one and smiled. "I like this a lot." And then, right there, believe it or not, he melted from sitting in water too hot. The children cried out, "What should we do?" A voice from the hot tub said, "Make me brand new." They rebuilt Sneezy as snowflakes flew. A cold winter wind swirled and blew. The snowman sneezed a gigantic achoo! "I'm sneezing and freezing and shivering too." A little boy said, "Then let's share. I have something you can wear. Here's my scarf that's red and blue. I think it would look great on you." The snowman blinked his coal black eyes. The colorful scarf was a nice surprise. It went very well with the long pink hat. The children all said, "How about that?" But Sneezy the snowman shivered. "Brr, it's cold out here, that's for sure. I need to feel some warmth on me. There's a campfire by that tree." He said with a smile, "I like this a lot." And then, right there, believe it or not, he melted from standing beside something hot. The children cried out, "What should we do?" A voice from the puddle said, "Make me brand new." They rebuilt Sneezy as snowflakes flew. A cold winter wind swirled and blew. The snowman sneezed a gigantic achoo! "I'm sneezing and freezing and shivering too." A little girl said, "Then let's share. I have something you can wear. Here's my coat, the perfect fit. I know that you'll look good in it." The snowman blinked his coal black eyes. The bright orange coat was a nice surprise. It went very well with the scarf and hat. The children all said, "How about that?" But Sneezy said, "Ooh, I'm way too hot. I'll take off all the new clothes I've got." The children yelled, "No, that's not the way. Listen to what we have to say. Buy something cold at the ice cream store. Have 2 scoops or 3 or 4. Sneezy ate ice cream 7 scoops high. "This is great," the snowman cried. "I'm not too cold and I'm not too hot. And I'm wearing clothes I like a lot." Then after eating every bite, he said, "At last I feel just right." Thanks for watching. Click subscribe. Snowmen at Work. New York Times bestselling teen Carolyn Buhner. Pictures by Mark Buhner. One night I made a snowman, then went inside to sleep. And when I woke, I saw more snow had fallen soft and deep. I went outside to shovel, but I saw the walks were clear. No one else was outside but my snowman standing near. Was he the one who shoveled with a snowman shoveling crew? Could it be I just don't see that snowmen have jobs too? The dentist might drill bits of coal to fix a snowman's smile. A little brush and polish sends the snowman home in style. A sled with crooked runners that needs to be made straight goes to the snow mechanics who will fix it while you wait. The grocer stocks his shelves with foods that snowmen love to eat, frozen peas and frosty flakes and ice cream for a treat. Snow children beg their mothers to go in the snow pet store. The pet store owner has snow pups, a coldfish tank and more. The baker spreads sweet icing onto every frozen bun. There's frosted cake and iced cold rolls, enough for everyone. The teachers teach snow children to count snowflakes one by one and how to spell Antarctica, refrigerate, and fun. There might be snow magicians who do tricks for their career. They pull snow rabbits out of hats or make them disappear. If your snowcat is stuck and there's no way to get it down, just call the firefighters. They're the bravest folks in town. The Storytime librarian reads tales from days of yore, how brave snow knights defend the right while mighty dragons roar. A birthday celebration means a party is in store. The pizza man delivers frozen pizza to your door. The factory workers carefully assemble jolly toys, knowing that they're bringing smiles to snow girls and snow boys. The big rig's lights glow brightly, while the tires spin round and round. The snow truck driver hauls a load of frozen goods to town. My snowman really might have shoveled, and I never knew that all around us snowmen have a lot of work to do. Thanks for watching. Click subscribe. The Best Snowman by Margaret Nash, illustrated by George Sopp. Robbie had never seen snow. Then one cold day it came. Robbie made a snowman as fat as a barrel. Then he stuck a pot on its head. He's funny, said Mr. Jones, who lived next door. Can you make one for me too? And me, said Mrs. Cook. And us, said Miss Ling and Mr. Perry. Okay, said Robbie. I'll make snowmen for all of you. One like yours, please, said Mr. Jones, as fat as a barrel. The snowman was a very funny shape, but Mr. Jones was pleased. A tall, thin one, please, said Miss Ling. The snowman was so tall and thin, it couldn't stand up, but Miss Ling was pleased. I'd like a snow woman, please, said Mrs. Cook. The hat was much too big for the snow woman, but Mrs. Cook was pleased. Robbie came to the last house. A teeny-weeny snowman, please, said Mr. Perry. They're the best. So, Robbie made a snowman the size of a snowball. Why is he the best? Asked Robbie. Mr. Perry took the teeny-weeny snowman and put him in the freezer with the frozen peas. He's the best snowman because he won't melt, said Mr. Perry. And he didn't. Thanks for watching. Click subscribe. The Biggest, Best Snowman by Marjorie Kyler, illustrated by Will Hillenbrand. Little Nell lived with Big Mama, Big Sarah, and Big Lizzie in a big house in a big snowy woods. Big Mama, Big Sarah, and Big Lizzie had big blustery voices. They had big talky friends. They had big loud parties. When Little Nell asked, "Can I help?" Big Mama, Big Sarah, and Big Lizzie shook their heads. "No, you can't," they said. "You're too small." "Yes, I can," said Little Nell. "And no, I'm not." "No, you can't," they said. "And yes, you are." So Little Nell would go into the big snowy woods. She would sit and watch the snow fall from the sky. She would walk under the bare-branched trees. She would play with her friends, Reindeer, Hare, and Bear Cub. One day, Bear Cub said to Little Nell, "Can you show us how to make a snowman?" "No, I can't," said Little Nell. "I'm too small." "Yes, you can," said the animals. "And no, you are not." "But I'm so small," said Little Nell. "My family won't let me do anything. I could never make a snowman." "How do you know unless you try?" asked Bear Cub. "We'll help you." Little Nell sighed. "Well, maybe," she said. Little Nell got down on her knees. She carefully patted and matted and batted the snow into a tiny ball. She rolled it and rolled it and rolled it to Reindeer. Reindeer nudged it and nudged it and nudged it to Hare. Hare kicked it and kicked it and kicked it to Bear Cub. Bear Cub rolled it and rolled it and rolled it until it stopped, thud, by the edge of a big icy pond. "Now what?" asked Reindeer. "The snowman needs a middle," said Little Nell. "How do we do that?" asked Hare. Little Nell bit her lip. She got down on her knees. She carefully patted and matted and batted another tiny snowball. She rolled it and rolled it to Reindeer. Reindeer nudged it and nudged it to Hare. Hare kicked it and kicked it to Bear Cub. Bear Cub rolled it and rolled it until, thud! It came to a stop. He pushed it on top of the other snowball. "Now what?" he asked. "It needs a head!" cried Little Nell. She patted and matted and batted another tiny snowball. Then she rolled it to Reindeer. Reindeer nudged it to Hare. Hare kicked it to Bear Cub. Bear Cub stuck it on top of the other two snowballs. Little Nell and the animals stood back and looked at their snowman. "Something's missing," said Hare. "The face," said Little Nell. "How do we do that?" asked the animals. I think we'll need help, said Little Nell. She whistled for the birds to come. Crow, Cardinal, and Sparrow flew down from the trees. Could you make a face for our snowman? She asked. Crow fetched 2 pieces of bark for the eyes. Cardinal found an old pink sock for the nose. Sparrow brought raisins for the mouth. Little Nell handed her green scarf to the birds. They wound it and wound it and wound it around the snowman's neck. Then they added 2 sticks for arms. The snowman was finally finished. Little Nell and the animals gazed up at their creation. Wow, said the animals. Wow, said Little Nell. It was almost lunchtime. Little Nell said goodbye to her friends. She walked home through the big snowy woods. Big Mama, Big Sarah, and Big Lizzie were waiting for her. Where have you been? They asked in their big blustery voices. I was building a great big snowman, answered Little Nell. How could someone as little as you build a great big snowman? Asked Big Lizzie. Come and see, said Little Nell. So, Big Mama, Big Sarah, and Big Lizzie followed Little Nell through the big snowy woods to the snowman. As they looked up, their mouths dropped open and their arms dropped to their sides. Wow, they said. You built that? Yes, I did, said Little Nell, with the help of my friends. That is the biggest, best snowman that ever was, said Big Mama. Yes, it is, said Little Nell, a huge smile on her face. Will you come and help us to make a big yummy lunch? Asked Big Sarah. No, she can't, said Big Lizzie. She's still too small. Yes, I can, said Little Nell, and no, I'm not. Yes, you can, said Big Mama, and yes, you will. Big Mama gave Little Nell a big sloppy kiss. Smooch! Big Sarah gave Little Nell a big squeezy hug. Ooch! Big Lizzie stuck her big nose in the air. Humph! Little Nell's friends lifted her to the top of the snowman. Hooray! Thanks for watching. Click subscribe. The Most Perfect Snowman by Chris Britt. To my daughter Emily, the builder of the most perfect snowman. Drift was the loneliest of snowmen. Made from the first blustery snow of winter, he'd been built fast and then forgotten. With only 2 skinny stick arms and a small mouth and eyes made of coal. Drift dreamed of wearing a stylish hat, scarf, and mittens just like the other snowmen. Most of all, he dreamed of having a pointy orange carrot nose. If only I had that, I'd be perfect, he thought. All the other snowmen were much fancier than Drift and would giggle at him with frosty glee. Nice nose, snazzy outfit, love your style. Dressed in their finery, they would have snowy fashion parades, snowball fights, and snowman dances that lasted all night, but Drift was never included. So he spent his days alone, swooshing and sliding through the wintry woods, often stopping in the shadows to watch the others laugh and play. One morning, 3 bundled-up children walked by. What a plain-looking snowman, said one little girl. You need a hat. Here, take mine. The hat was blue, fluffy, and toasty warm. It fit perfectly. And you can have my mittens, said the little boy. They were so snuggly, Drift raised his arms in the air and smiled. The last little girl turned to Drift. Why don't you take my scarf? It felt soft and cozy as she placed it around his neck. She looked at him for a moment. You're still missing something. Then, reaching into her coat pocket, she pulled out the most pointy orange carrot nose that Drift had ever seen. She squashed it into place. Now you're the perfect snowman. The other snowmen watched in astonishment. All afternoon, Drift played with the children. He had never been so happy. But soon, dark clouds rolled in, and his new friends turned to walk back home. Drift thanked them and waved goodbye. That night, a terrible blizzard began to blow. Icy snowflakes ripped at Drift's new hat and mittens and tossed them into the air. Oh no! Drift gasped. He set out to search for his missing clothes. He looked up into the trees and down a stream, over hills and under bushes, but they were gone. Oh well, Drift sighed. At least I still have my beautiful new scarf and nose. Then, through the howling wind, Drift heard a whisper-soft voice. I'm lost. Can you help me, please? It was a tiny bunny. It looked frightened and shivery cold. The bunny needed a safe place to survive the night, but there was no shelter to be found. Drift took off his scarf and wrapped it gently around the bunny. There! Now you'll stay warm. That's when he heard a faint growl. It was the bunny's tummy. Rumble. Drift stared into the frosty night. He knew what he had to do. He reached up, removed his last remaining gift, and gave his new friend something to eat. And became the most perfect snowman of all. Thanks for watching. Click subscribe